So the point is, in the planning phase, the managers will prepare a detailed plan for testing or for developing the complete application. So what is the plan for us to develop this? Who are all the resources going to work on this project? So what are all the things? Everything we will be discussing as part of this planning phase itself. And once we are done with this planning phase, then the next and a most important thing that comes into the picture is a design phase. So what are we going to do as part of this design phase? In the design phase, we will be preparing a detailed design of entire application. So what exactly the design means? Let me tell you a simple example. You are using Amazon.com. You know about Amazon or a Flipkart or Snapdeal, whichever the e-commerce applications are there. We know all those things, right? So Amazon. So on this Amazon, do you think that it's a simple website which is displaying just the products and we can purchase here? Or it's a kind of a complex stuff involved in a backend. The reason is, see here, basically around 45 million products are there. Okay, okay, we have too many products are there in an Amazon. It's not possible for them to maintain it as a simple website. It's a huge website which has lots and lots of data and lot of complete user sets of information, and which is a kind of a complex information. And that too, if you are entering any product, for suppose if you are entering any product, complete product details we are getting in a fraction of seconds. Just within a second we are getting the product details. So it means in the backend there are too many activities involved in a backend for this particular application. So all these things will be considered in a design phase, which we are considering as an architecture of the application. Okay, the application architecture. What are all the sub modules involved in the application? Okay, from where we are getting the data, how far we are passing the data, where we are storing down the information. All these details we will see as part of this application architecture. Okay, as part of this application architecture we will see. And later in the design phase we have another design also. The thing is, on a home screen, how exactly the Amazon home screen looks like, we will prepare a design and we will share it with the customer. But if this is how your home screen looks like, is that okay for you or it's not okay for you? We will get a feedback from the customer. Assume that Sachendra is having a requirement for this Lucky Trainings website, which is a luckytrainings.in. This is what a website that Sachendra is looking for. For this particular website, how it looks like. Okay, how exactly it needs to looks like. See, this is the home screen, how it needs to looks like, and this is middle screen. These are the various things, how exactly it needs to look like. We will prepare a prototype and we will prepare a prototype and we will share that particular prototype with the customer, and based on his approval we will proceed further with the complete developments. Okay, we will proceed further with the complete developments out over there. Okay, with a complete development out over there. So the point out over here is, in the design there will be an application architecture design. Followed by that particular application architecture, we should have another design. Okay, we should have another design, which is, in this design phase we need to design. Okay, in this particular design we will be designing the user interface of that application, how the application user interface looks like. All those things we are going to consider as part of this design phase. Got it, guys? Are any questions for me on this? Everyone, how the design looks like and what is the design phase? Sachender, Deepa, and
Yeah, got
Raj.
it. Yeah, got it.
Good. And then development. Say the developer has a requirement how the application should work, and they have a design how the application looks like. Then immediately they will start with their coding and they will start with the development. And once after developer confirms that, buddy, I'm done with this login functionality, then immediately we as a testers will verify whether login functionality is working in all the ways or not. Okay, as a tester we need to think out of the box, and we need to test it in all the combinations whether the application is working or not. We as a testers will do. And once after the testing is completed, finally the delivery and the maintenance. This delivery and a maintenance, what are we doing means, as part of this delivery and a maintenance, we will be dealing with a complete delivery to the customer. And if at all the customer is looking for support from our end, we will be giving him a support as well, which falls under a maintenance phase, a best example for this kind of a training portal, what Sachendra's requirement is, once after the development is completed, Surendra, whenever I will give you a course, you need to add those courses to the website. That's what Sachendra will give a requirement to me, and I will work on that particular requirement accordingly. Got it, guys? Are any questions for me on this? Any questions, guys? Everyone?
Yeah, got it.
Satyendra and Raj?
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, got it.
So these are about a software development life cycle stages. These are the various stages whatever we have in order to develop an application. The first stage is gathering of a requirements. So first we will gather the requirements from the customer. Okay, so what exactly he's looking from us, we will gather the requirements. Okay, we will gather the requirements, and once after gathering the requirements, then we will go with the planning also. And once the planning is done, then we will go with the design phase. Okay, then we will go with the design phase. Okay, in the design phase we will prepare a high level design, and the design, okay, of the application will be prepared. And once after the design is done, then the developer will focus on a development. And once the development activity is completed, the tester will comes into the picture and he will test the application. And once the tester certifies that, we will deliver the application to the customer. And if he need, we will go for a maintenance phase, and it's not a compulsory that every project will run into a maintenance phase. Good enough. Done the deal. Any questions for me so far, or you are good? So I hope it's clear for you all. Then once we are done up to this software development lifecycle, so there is an opportunity or there is an option for us to customize these SDLC activities in developing an application. So what exactly that means? We can, we can customize in such a way that, okay, we can customize in such a way that we can complete the construction within a month. We can complete the construction within a 2 months or 3 months, depending on a budget. We can customize that construction. Okay, so the same thing is going to happen here. Depending on a project need, we can develop that particular application. Okay, depending on a project need, we can develop that particular application, and we will deliver it to the customer. Okay, good. Done the deal. So with that note, this is all about a software development life cycle. And once we are done with this software development life cycle, then the next point that we need to consider here is error or a mistake, defects, issue, incident, and defect, issue, incident, and a bug. And the last one is a failure. First of all, before jumping on all these things, I just want to give you two definitions. What is an expected behavior and what is an actual behavior? Okay, so I will give you a small example so that you guys can understand this concept. I assume that I have a booked a flight ticket from Hyderabad to Bangalore. Okay, and the flight was supposed to arrive in a Hyderabad airport at 8:05 a.m. IST. Okay, this is what the flight was supposed to arrive at an airport. On that day, when I was traveling, I got a flight at around 12 p.m. IST. Okay, so here immediately a quick question will rise in our mind. How would I know the flight was supposed to arrive at 8:05? So, as per Indigo, they have a given that specifically this flight, which is moving from Hyderabad to Bangalore, it will be at a 5 a.m. So it means this is what given from an Indigo itself. This is what an given behavior, which we are considering it as an expected behavior. Okay, and so this is what on that day we got a flight. This we call it as an actual behavior. On that day we got a flight at that particular time. So whenever we are going on that day, what exactly the time we got it, we consider it as an actual behavior. So the thing is, when you will get the actual behavior, until you go to the airport, you don't know when your flight will come. Right. So if my flight is tomorrow, I need to wait till tomorrow. Then only I can know how what exactly my actual time is. But expected time before booking a flight ticket itself, I can see it in an Indigo official website that this is what an expected behavior is. So the bottom line is expected behavior, we can find it from the initial needs itself. The actual behavior, whenever you are verifying it, or whenever you are at that situation, then only you will get that actual behavior. All right, that's the difference between these two. So the point here, if we switch on back to the previous definitions, whatever we have, defect, issue, incident, or a bug, all these four are one and the same. If there is a deviation between expected result or an expected behavior and an actual result or an actual behavior. So it means if the expected and an actual is not one and the same, we call it as a defect, issue, incident, or a bug. All these are one and the same. If both are not same, we call it as a defect, issue, incident, or a bug. Okay, what does it mean? So for us, we will be focusing on an application requirements itself. For us, what is this expected result? So this expected result, we will get it from the requirements document. Okay, this expected behavior, we will get it from the requirement. Once the customer has given a requirement for us, stating that if something needs to come, we call it as an expected behavior. Whereas an actual result, whenever you are testing the application, so whenever we are testing the application, at that particular point of time, you will come to know this actual behavior. Okay, you will come to know this particular actual behavior. Is this point clear for you all, or any questions between the expected and an actual behavior? I will give you another small example so that you guys can understand more clearly. The requirement here is Gmail login functionality. As a user, if you enter valid username comma valid password, you will get inbox page. This is what an given requirement is, from which the expected behavior is inbox page should display whenever you enter a username and a password which is of a valid. What is an actual result? When you will get it? Whenever you are testing the application, if you are testing the app, and if you enter a valid username, valid password, and then you will come to know whether this inbox page is coming or not. If inbox page is coming or not, okay, whatever the screen it's coming, we call it as an actual result. Okay, inbox is coming or not is an actual result, guys. Okay, if expected and an actual both are same, it's not a defect. If expected and actual both are not same, we call it as a defect. Is this example clear for you all? Deepa, Satyendra, and Raj?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see.
Let me show you a simple example on this so that you guys can understand this concept more clearly. Okay, so here is a search functionality. So this search functionality on this website will work in such a way that, let me give you a requirement. Okay, so here the requirement is, if you enter any QA related course in search and click on a search button, that the course screen or the course should display. Okay, if I enter Selenium, the search results related to Selenium display. If I enter QTP related to search results will display. What is my expected behavior, guys? What is the expected result? Respective course should display as per search keyword. So if I'm giving a Selenium result should display. If I'm giving a YouTube, Google, something related should display. When you will get the actual result, whenever a developer confirms that, buddy, I have implemented this search functionality, go and test it. Then you will get it. As of now, developer confirms that the search functionality is implemented. So now I'm searching for Selenium. I entered Selenium and I clicked on a search now. Whatever the result it is populating, we call it as an actual result. So what is your expected result? Course should display. What is your actual result, guys? Page not found 404. Let me list down my actual result. Page not found 404. This is what my actual result is. Whether these two are same or these two are differ. Is expected and actual result one and the same, or these two are differ?
Different.
We call it
Both
as
are,
defect
both
or
are
a
different.
bug or an incident or an issue. We call it as an defect, bug, or an issue or an incident. Is this example clear for you all, or any questions on this, guys? What is a defect?
Yeah, got it.
Okay, perfect. Done the deal. And then the next one is error or a mistake. Okay, so what exactly error or a mistake? An incorrect human action that leads to problem in the application. So a human being will do a small mistake that may lead to a problem in an application. An example, business analyst might have a captured a wrong requirement. If he have a captured a wrong requirement, the complete development will happen for a wrong application and customer will not accept it, which we call it as a defect, which we call it as an error. For suppose developer, while developing the application, he may miss certain conditions or certain stuff, which we call it as an error or a mistake. Okay, a human might be doing a small incorrect action, which we are calling it as an incorrect human action, which we are calling it as an error or a mistake. Whereas the last definition is a failure. If customer identifies that issue, we call it as a failure. Okay, if a customer is identifying that particular issue, we call it as a failure, guys. Okay, if the customer is identifying that particular issue, we treat it as a failure. For suppose we have a developed the application and we tested the application and we delivered the application to the customer, and now customer is identifying the issue, we treat it as a failure. Depending on the type of issues, okay, we will be focusing, and the failures are also having a various impacts on an application. We need to do an impact analysis and all those things that need to be carried, which can be covered as part of a different sessions, guys. But for now, this is what the topic is. Is there the three definitions clear for you all, or any questions for me on this, guys? Everyone?
Yeah, we are clear.
Perfect. Done the deal, guys. So now let's take a pause here for today. Okay. So we'll continue